Hello, hello, it's Tash and Ro.
Welcome to or welcome back to
It's Saturday,
your personal self-care pod where you can escape the work week and unwind with your two besties.
No matter what day of the week it is, but for us, it's Saturday. Oh my God, I thought I was going to forget what to say. Like, hello?
Where are we?
I got a little stage fright. It's been a while.
It's been so long, guys, and I know everyone's like, hello, are you
know,
guys still alive over there?
Yeah, honestly, we didn't really plan on taking such a long break after we got back, but we're always on the same wavelength, and we literally just got completely crushed by September with work life, and we were like, you know what? We love the pod so much, but we didn't want to add more to our plate when we
and I feel like with us too, we can't fake it. We can't come here and just be like, all right, let's talk about our summer and how great everything is. And it's inside we're just this is too much, It was hard to fake that. Exactly.
So. Wanted to be in a good headspace. Didn't want this causing either of us any extra stress because obviously we do this to have fun and relieve any stress in our lives. So if it's somehow adding stress because it's the time that we have to put into it, it's hey, let's just pause. Yeah. And we'll just come back when we're ready. And we're ready.
I missed it so much.
I did. I really missed it. I missed it a lot. It feels so good to be in your house on Nova. And we're still dressed like we're in Italy because it's nice out. And we got to fill you guys in because I got married. That's crazy.
That's so crazy. Is it still crazy to be husband, my husband?
I love saying husband. And I officially finally yesterday changed the Facebook status from engaged to married, changed my last name on Facebook, even though I haven't legally changed my name yet. I'm going to wait till next year. Yeah. But Natasha Dickey on Facebook.
Crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah. Guys, we have so much to talk about, so we're just gonna dive in. But
okay, I need to tell a story.
Yes.
So I'm gonna set the scene for you guys for the day Matt and I are leaving to Italy on August 1st. Okay, so you guys know we have the best neighbors in the world, and they offered to drive us to the airport that day, which was amazing. And so they said they were gonna pick us up at 12:30 p.m. So we're getting ready. We're putting all of our stuff in the living room. Door knocks at 12:15. Our neighbors are a bit early, but they're dressed up so cute. Sam and his dad wore nice outfits. They had a sign saying Uber service, Matt and Tash, part 2 of 3, because Matt made that video for me, part 1 of 3, when he proposed to me. Now part 2 is the wedding, and they follow his YouTube, so they're this is part 2. So they cute. Decked out their car, decorated the inside, put signs all over for us. It was so sweet, and so it was just overwhelming. I was oh my God, this is so nice, and I was excited and happy, but then I'm sad because I'm saying bye to Stark, and all these things are happening so fast. They're where's your stuff? I'm it's all over there. Just start bringing stuff to the car, no problem. They bring all the stuff that's laid out for them to the car. I say bye to Stark, and I start crying, obviously, because I'm not going to see him for a month, so I'm emotional. And then we get in the car, and I'm still crying, and we're driving to the airport, and I'm starting to settle down.
And we're early. Granted, yes. We were hey, you know what? We'd rather be at the airport with all of our best friends, getting hyped up for the wedding, have a drink, rather than just get there and go to our gate. So we were 2 hours early for Ottawa airport. That's
and we were flying Ottawa to Montreal. Yeah. And then Montreal to Rome. So we get there pretty early, and we also live 10, 15 minutes from the airport. So it wasn't too far of a trek for us. We get to the airport. They start unloading the car. And Sam, their son, is is that everything you guys have? And I'm looking around, and I'm looking at our luggage. And then I look at Matt, and I go, oh my God, sorry, Sam. I forgot my fucking wedding dress. I didn't bring my fucking wedding dress, dude.
And I remember just being hey,
I'm texting. A running joke. This was the running joke.
Yes, because I was don't forget your wedding dress, ha ha. We were making, we were joking about it leading up to it. And I'm texting her, and I'm oh my God, Sam, that's so cute that Sam did that. The Heathers did that. That's so cute. And she goes, Romina. I'm in caps. I forgot my fucking wedding dress.
Okay, guys, I'm. Not to say any excuses, but the emotions were so high. This wedding dress has been hidden in one of our closets for a year at this point, and it's never left the closet. And I just didn't have a chance to take it out yet because I was getting all my other stuff ready. I don't want to blame them for being early, but they were early, and it threw me off a little bit. And it was just like out of sight, out of mind, you know, like there was so many things going on, and they were kind of in panic mode, and we're just like, Matt's like, do I stay? Do I go? Like, I'm like, Kate, all the luggage is here. You stay here with the luggage. We'll go back and get the dress. We get in the car, and then we call Heather because she's at home still. And we're like, hey, I forgot the wedding dress. She's like, oh no. I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, I'm going to come and drive it to you. No problem. And we're like, oh. That would have been way better. We're already like halfway back to your house. So like, we'll be there in 5 minutes. She's like, okay. So we start driving, and literally she comes out like 2 streets out with my dress, just holding it so she can get it to us faster, and is bringing the dress, and she comes and brings it to me, and she's like, please open it and make sure that the dress is in there. Yeah. And I like open it up, and I'm like, yes, the dress is in there. Sam's like, do you need to go back to your house and make sure you didn't forget anything else? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, Sam,
get me there.
I'm fine. Like, let's go back to the airport. We go back to the airport, and we still had like over an hour and a half to spare. Like, it was fine. But this is why, guys, just always go a little bit early, because you never know what's going to happen.
But I will say, so we get there and everything's fine. But like Matt, the whole time, like we're like going through security, we're doing all this stuff. He's like, Tash, like, are you going to forget anything else? And it was like a joke. He's like, strike one, buddy. And he kept saying that to her. And I was getting really frustrated.
So the wedding dress he was actually nice about. But then, guys, I took off my Apple Watch through security.
I forgot about this.
This is why he was a little upset with me. It's because the wedding dress, he was actually fine. He's like, no problem, da-da-da. Then I go through security and I take off my Apple Watch. And then when I go get my bin back, I take everything out except my Apple Watch. And then the things like go back under and loop back around. So I had to get security to find my Apple Watch. They took my phone. They're pinging it.
And this is like right after we just got like her wedding dress. So yes, that's why I didn't
remember. Matt's like, hey buddy, like get it together, strike 2, like no more. And I'm like, okay, so there's just, you know what? There's just a lot in my head because I planned this whole fucking wedding and now we're leaving, and I'm just like a little stressed.
Yes, yeah. And you're like never stressed, so it's like cute. You're like, oh, and she's like stressed out. She's like never like this.
I'm like, sorry guys.
So then we're having like some drinks, some food at Big Rig, and Matt's sitting beside me, and he has his like camera bag with like his expensive camera, all the equipment for the whole wedding,
thousands of dollars.
And he gets up and he starts walking away, and everybody gets up from the table, starts walking away.
We're going to our gate at this point.
We're going to our gate, and the guy beside me is like, "Hey, like, ma'am, is this like your bag?" And I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious, because he just gave her so much shit about forgetting her Apple Watch and her dress. Like, this is gonna be funny. So I grab the bag and I don't say anything, and I just like put it on. It's a backpack, so I just put on this backpack, and I'm walking through, and I look at Tash, and I'm like, hey, look, like
You're like, come here.
I was like, look at my back, look what's on my back.
And then I was like, oh my God. You're like, don't tell him.
Yeah, I'm like, don't say anything. Let's like keep this going. And she was like, oh yeah.
I'm like, this is payback for giving you a hard time with the Apple Watch. And I was like, yeah.
So I like have it on for like, I don't know, like 10 minutes. We're waiting there. I don't know how it got brought up. Someone said something about, what camera did you bring? And he goes,
he's kind of was like, he like touched himself, and he's like, oh shit, like I forgot the bag.
And then I just like turned around and showed it to him. So that was his like little payback. It wasn't as dramatic as I was expecting it to be, because he's just such a chill guy. He's like, I was
gonna have to walk back. I'm like, buddy, someone would have stolen that. Like, you're so lucky.
But so that was like the first hour of the trip, and we're like, all right, forgot 3 things. Like, let's get it going, guys. Like, don't forget anything.
Don't forget anything else. But then actually, when we went to check onto that flight, they made Matt check his carry-on, which was literally his suit. Like, it was a duffel bag rolled out, turned into a suit. But we were on such a small plane that they were like, sorry, sir, like you have to check that to your final destination. And we're like, oh wait, sorry, no, this is his wedding suit. We're going all the way to Rome. Like, please God, no. They're like, okay, we'll do you a favor. We'll let you pick it up in Montreal, but you're going to have to like exit, come back through security. And we're like, okay, we have like a 3.5 hour layover. So that's fine. But it took him a long time to get his duffel bag back. It took forever. And I actually put my Apple Watch in it to be able to track it. So then eventually like we knew like it was actually there, but like it was really stressful. And we put his wedding ring in there too. We didn't think to take his wedding ring out. So we're like, okay, if we lose his bag, we don't have a wedding ring.
You know what's funny is that when we were going to Vegas, we had like VIP service. Here, it was like, because he was there, like you were still dressed in white, like bride. No one was giving us any favors. They were just like, all right,
no,
like whatever. But But then you have to tell how you got upgraded to
Oh my
first class
gosh.
in the pods.
Guys, then we get to Montreal, right? We have a quick little flight. And first I want to say like how fun Montreal was, because this is when everyone like started to arrive. Like Alex came, Austin, Tom, like Reagan, Zamir, like all our friends are starting to join, and like the party's just getting bigger and bigger.
There's like 15 of us at this point, just all sitting at a table.
I was pretty drunk by the time we got on to our next flight. But anyway, so Matt and I splurged and we got premium economy, which was awesome, like in itself. We're like, you know what, let's just like treat ourselves a little bit. And then me though, I thought that was business class. So I'm like, oh yeah, we're business class. So Reagan's texting me and she's like, hey, are you guys like, where are you guys sitting in business class? Like Zamir got like a free upgrade. Like we want to like make sure we're sitting near you. I'm like, oh Matt, like where are our seats for business class? He's like, no babe, we're not business. We're premium economy. They're very different. And I was like, oh, I guess we're not business class. And then Reagan and Zamir, being little angels, they're like, well, we're not going to take the first class tickets when it's your wedding. Like we already got first class from Vancouver to Montreal. So you guys take the first class from Montreal to Rome. So then we got to experience the pods.
Like the ones where you can actually like lay down fully. And they were
bed.
row 1, guys. They were row 1. And me, Alex, and Farza, we were row 53. And this was like our ongoing joke, like row 53, 53, like in the back. And we just had a great time, just us three, like in the back. But it was hilarious. Like we wanted to come see you guys at one point. They're like, no, they have to come see you. You guys can't come see them.
I didn't
we're
know
like,
that.
We're like, okay.
Yeah, I did not go see anyone. I think Matt went back for a bit to say hi to people, but honestly, I have to say, like, they were so nice up there. They actually like made a postcard for us, like, and all signed a well wishes, like from their crew number. They all wrote little messages.
So cute.
They were bringing us like nonstop like champagne. Like I know like they could have done that to anyone, but they were like, for your like anniversary, like cheers. And
so cute.
They just treated us so well. Like,
and
highly,
the
highly
food was like
recommend.
amazing.
Dude, ahi tuna salad is a starter. Like could pick from like steak and like some Thai dish, some vegetarian dish, like dessert. I will say though, because it was a later flight, like they didn't start serving dinner until like midnight.
I remember
and
that.
at that point I was just like, yo, I just want to go to sleep because we're going to be landing in like 5 hours. But so comfy. I got like, I felt so poor because they like put this little leather toiletry bag there with like toothpaste, toothbrush, like eye mask, like a bunch of like toiletry stuff. I remember texting Reagan and Zamir and I'm like, am I allowed to keep the bag, or am I only, they're like, do I just take the stuff out and leave the bag? They're like, no, like you're allowed to keep the bag. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Like, thanks.
Thank you so much. I've been here before.
Thank you so much. But yeah, landed, felt really refreshed. And then even at the airport, we ran into like Nicole and Dell in Rome and Leanna.
Yeah.
And like it was,
There was like 20 of us at that point. Like it was crazy.
just growing and growing. And
Yeah.
it was so much fun.
It's like, when are you going to be in Italy with like 30 people, you know? Like it's actually insane.
No, it really is.
It was crazy. So that was so fun. Just like the getting there alone, like the vibes were so high. Like I remember landing and everyone's like, are you guys like jet lagged? And I'm like, no, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Like I'm so excited. Like the adrenaline like was hitting and I was just like, I'm ready to explore.
Let's do it. And we landed in Rome and it was a heat wave.
Yeah.
It was so hot. Like literally it was like 44 degrees.
Yeah.
But it was a super fun time. Again, there was like 15 of us exploring Rome. And originally we booked a walking tour. But then it turned out we actually booked like this ancient Rome walking tour. So it wasn't like the typical things you'd want to see, like the Trevi Fountain, the Colosseum, the Roman Pantheon. Like it was things we didn't even really know or care about.
Yeah.
So
And it was
then-
like 4 hours or something.
Yeah, it was a long time. So I was like, you know what? I have an idea. Like, we're such a big group. What if each couple or like a pair of people take one of the spots we thought were going to be on the tour and then do a little research, aka go to ChatGPT and ask it to make a little blurb for you. And we go together as a group, and then each couple, each pair presents like that spot,
So fun.
which was so fun. You
I
guys.
thought it
like,
was way better, like like a
Dude.
friend guided
Yes.
walking tour. So much better than a typical walking tour.
If you're a bigger group, like definitely do that, because we could stop when we wanted to. We stopped for lunch. We got beers, like we got gelato, like we were on our own schedule instead of following someone around the whole time.
And we skipped some things. Like we were like, does everyone
The
want to see
stairs.
Yeah, well, which was mine. It was so
Tell
funny.
us about the Spanish steps.
I don't
Romina.
remember anything. ChatGPT. But I remember even Alex and Austin did like a little rap. Remember they did like a little
Yes.
performance. It was so fun.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
fun. We walked all around Rome, and like I have to say, you guys, if you are going on a Euro trip or just a big walking trip, we got the best shoes in the game. We got a pair of Dr. Scholl's, the time off shoes, the like white cute sneakers. Like I'm still wearing them to this day. Like they lasted me all of Italy, like 20,000 steps a day. And I was so comfortable.
Yeah. Thank God for those shoes. Thank you, Dr. Scholes, for sending us those shoes
Yeah.
because we were literally on the hunt for the best like Euro shoes. And those shoes go with like flowy dresses. They go with pants. They're
Skirts,
cute.
shorts, like anything.
Anything. They're not bulky and they're lightweight. They're easy to pack. And honestly, yeah, my favorite travel shoes now.
Yeah, I
are the
wear them
Time
all the
Offs.
time.
Yeah.
And they're really easy to clean as well. So shout out to Dr. Scholes for keeping our feet healthy on that long ass walking trip.
Yes. Okay, I have a story for when we were, so halfway through the walking tour, we like go for lunch. And I don't know how this got brought up, but I think it was Hannah was like, you have a thing with birds. Like she was like, tell this story about how you almost got attacked by a bird. And I was like, oh, all right. Like,
You're like, oh yeah, I blocked that in my
oh,
memory.
yeah, I
Thanks for
literally
bringing
forgot about that. I was like, how do you even remember that? It was like 6 years ago or 5 or 6 years ago. I was walking back. This was when we lived at Pleasant Park. I was walking back from work and there's this like long street I was walking down and I had my headphones in and I guess my hair was like up in like a big bun as it normally is. And literally all of a sudden I feel like something like jump on my head and like poke my head. And I was like, what the hell? And I like take off my headphones. I didn't see anything. And the lady across the street was like, oh my God, you just got attacked by a crow. Like I literally
Dude, crows are vicious. They're monsters.
Crazy. So I was telling this story to like everyone there and we're sitting, then we go sit down for lunch. And I kid you not, like maybe 10 minutes after I just told this story, a bird literally takes a shit and it falls like 5 centimeters away from all of my stuff. Like it got on my phone, it got on my bag. It didn't get on me, thank God. But I was like,
You're like, you gotta be kidding me.
And then Hannah was there and she starts laughing. She's like, the birds can hear you. And they're like,
they heard you
after
talking shit.
Yeah.
They're like, well, here's my shit, motherfucker. That's
Oh
crazy.
my
Dude,
God.
Matt actually got shit on by a bird when we were in
Stop.
Tuscany.
No way.
Yeah, he got shot on like right on his shoulder.
The birds are crazy
So
there.
gross.
Ugh, disgusting. But anyway, so if you go to Rome, just be careful for that.
Yeah, we did a lot of rooftops in Rome, which was awesome.
Yeah.
We did a lot of drinks on rooftops, but also like when you're a big group and I mean, obviously we like are chatting all the time, but sometimes it's nice to play a little game. And Zamir showed us this game called Wavelength and we played it throughout the whole trip.
It's so fun and you don't need anything.
You don't need anything to play this game.
Yeah.
And I don't, do you want to explain the rules?
So I'm like, wait, what were the rules of this game? So
Okay.
you like come up with a number for between 1 and 10, and one person doesn't know the number, and the rest of the group knows that number.
Yeah.
And then you pick like the person who's trying to guess what number it is picks like a category of some sorts, and then that person, the other people have to come up with what they think represent that number. So
like, for example, like I could ask Romina, like cities you've traveled to.
yeah.
And let's say the number is a 10. So this is going to be like the best shitty city she's ever traveled to.
Yeah.
Or if it's a lower number, then it's going to be like a shittier city that she's traveled to. But you have to be on the same wavelength as that person and be thinking, what would that person think?
So if I like, for me, it'd be like Lake Como, for example, like
Yeah.
that's really up there. So then if she knows me, she knows that's high for me.
Yeah.
And then she'll be like, okay, that's like either a 9 or a 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's super, super fun.
It's so fun. I recommend playing it, and it's fun because you don't need anything and it's easy enough to explain and play. But yeah, that was our game for like the whole trip.
Yeah, we've been playing it. Remember, we came back when we were like at local and we were still playing with like a bunch of people.
Yeah, it's
was
so
super
fun. So fun. Okay, so one of the nights we were like, it was our last night in Rome.
It was our last night in Rome.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we popped off.
Yeah, so we were like, we went to this crazy rooftop that shout out to Kate Taylor. She
found a lot of rooftops.
Yeah, she found a lot of rooftops and like good restaurants this trip. And yeah, so we were on a rooftop. Then we were like, hey, this rooftop is way too bougie for us to get like drunk. We were trying to like party.
We need to find an alley.
So we found a group of us went down and we found like this random little hole in the wall, like on the street to just drink cheap wine, cheap drinks. Everyone came and joined us. We were like literally a group of 25 people.
Yeah, we like took up the whole alley. Like we were outside too. Like, you know, when like in Rome and places in Italy, you see like cute little patio tables like in the alleys, but like we were just one long ass table along the side of one alleyway. It was so funny.
It was so fun. So we like drank there and then we ended up going out clubbing that night.
Man, what a random
So
occurrence.
random.
We like were in the basement of some club and we took up the whole basement. And it was so hot and I was wearing this long skirt. I remember like having to tuck the long skirt like up because I was like, I picked the wrong outfit for tonight.
No,
like
it was so hot.
It was so hot, but it was so fun. Like we stayed out and then all of a sudden I look at my clock and I'm like, Matt, it's like 2:00, 2:30. I'm like, we gotta like be on a bus tomorrow, like early.
We
like,
had like a
go.
big travel day the next day. And I guess like, I don't know what happened, but I like bruised my tailbone that night. And I guess because I was drinking, I like really didn't, like I knew that something had happened, but I couldn't articulate what had happened to Farzad. So we're walking home and he's like walking pretty fast. And I'm like, and I'm like not able to keep up with him. And he's like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Like, what's
Keep
wrong?
track.
And I kept being like, ow, ow. And he's like, what's wrong? Anyway, the next morning I wake up in so much pain and I'm like, what is going on? Definitely slipped and fell onto like the cobblestones.
Yeah.
The cobblestones in Rome too, like out of nowhere, like a big step would come.
Out
or
of
like
everywhere, Rome had the craziest cobblestone.
yeah, like everywhere else
situation.
was kind of like predictable, but Rome was just crazy. So that was not fun. Woke up like being like, this is the
so
worst.
bad. I've like never
pain.
seen you like that.
I was just dying. I was like, like, and this is the beginning of our trip.
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna be like this the whole trip?
This was on Sunday, and I'm like, okay, like our wedding's on Tuesday. I'm like, is she gonna be able to dance? Is she gonna be able to like walk down the aisle? Like, is she gonna be able to do our travel day? Because we had to take a train that day, and then like a 2.5 hour like van ride.
And the van
the
ride
wedding
was like
venue.
up these hills and it was like all bumpy. And I was
Yeah.
just like, But I will say that first day was the worst. I was popping so much Advil. I literally did the maximum amount of Advil that you can do in a day, which was 6. So I was doing that.
PSA, it's
it's
6.
6. So I was doing that like every single day pretty
Holy
much
shit.
for like a week. And I will say it really did help because it just helped with the pain.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that first day was the worst. After that, it got a lot better, and getting in the pool was really nice too. Like
So
being in water.
We got to the wedding venue, and like you weren't in my van on the way there, but like when we were like 40 minutes out, like I just started to feel so nauseous and just like nervous because I was like, wow, like I'm about to see the place that I've been like looking at for the last year. And I'm like, what if it's not as nice as the pictures? Like, what if it doesn't like meet our expectations? And I was just thinking of like all these crazy scenarios. And I'm like, what if people don't like it? What if people don't like their rooms? Like I was just like going through the motions like all of a sudden. And then we get there, and guys, this place blew my expectations out of the water.
It was the most stunning place
It was
ever.
just so cool.
was
It was
cool.
so like mysterious and like old and beautiful. Like I still didn't even get a chance to see everybody's room. Like it was like I got lost.
I didn't see it. I feel like half the rooms I didn't see.
It took me like 5 days to get used to it. And on the 5th day, it's like, oh, we got to go to the next spot. But it was just such a really, really beautiful, like unique place. I've never seen anything like it before. Highly recommend, guys, if you're like not married yet and you need a place to get married, like.
And
hit me
each
up.
room had its own like character. It was old. It had its own like style.
Color and style.
And there was like this library room, and some of the books were like from the 1800s.
There was
like,
books that were handwritten because that's how old they were. They didn't have printers. The printing press wasn't invented yet.
Yeah.
So people were writing these books by hand.
on like paper that you can tell was like made, like they made
the
paper
like
and then they
Nara,
wrote on
like
it.
Nara
Yeah.
Smith. They
Yeah.
literally made the paper.
Crazy.
And I was so pleasantly surprised because I've been chatting with like one of the owners, Camilla, and she's obviously Italian, and her English wasn't that great, but she spoke fluent French. So we were like, oh, perfect. So we were just able to communicate in French, which was awesome because I was worried about there being a language barrier.
Yep.
And yeah, it had the most beautiful infinity pool, and like we literally got there and immediately just like popped in the pool.
I miss that. Like that place was beautiful, and the city itself, Giuliano, I will say, because we went to a lot of like touristy spots in Italy.
Yeah.
I'm so happy we got the Giuliano experience because
Yeah,
it
that
really
was
was
real
like
Italy.
a hole in the wall. Like it was so cute.
Yeah.
Like you really got the authentic Italian experience, and the food was amazing there.
La Torretta, that's like one of the best restaurants we've been to,
good.
and the most affordable. It was the
So
cheapest.
cheap.
It was
so
cheap, big portions, and so good. And like, you know, this town is really fucking small because the whole time we're traveling, and when we meet local people, and we're like, oh yeah, we got married. They're like, oh, where? And we're like, Giuliano. They're like, where? Like even like Italians didn't know where this place was. It's literally like on a mountain in between like a bunch of mountains. Like it's literally on a freaking cliff.
And there was the pizza festival happening when we were there.
Yeah, guys. So when Matt and I booked this spot, we had no idea, but we find out like several months later, the day that we are getting married is the start of their annual pizza festival that's been going on for like years and years and years. And it's just really special and serendipitous because like our whole thing is like pizza, right? Like our first date was a pizza spot. Every year on our anniversary we get pizza. Like anyone that knows us like knows like that's just like our thing. It's pizza. Like it's simple, but like that's just our thing. So the fact that this started on our wedding day, I was like, wait, what a crazy coincidence. Like that could have been any other day, but it started August 6th.
And people from all over, like I remember being in Rome and there was advertisements for this pizza festival. So people from all over Italy were coming to this festival, and it just happened to be at the same time as the wedding. So we got to experience that, which was really cool.
I will say shout out to Tony he literally brought you guys from Canada creamy garlic dip from Pizza, and he was bringing them to the pizza festival. And it really elevated the pizza because like these pizzas were like simple, right? Like that's like mozzarella, basil, tomato sauce. Like it was super rare to even get like meat on your pizza. Like it was good, but it's just like we're just so spoiled with so many different ingredients on our toppings on our pizza. So to have the creamy garlic was like
so good.
La pièce de résistance. It was so delicious. And like one of my favorite nights, it was the white party. When we went to the pizza festival after, and we're all just like dancing like in the crowd, like just literally like locals, and it was just so special.
It was I want to go back. Like just talking about it right now makes me so happy. I'm like, okay, we need to talk about the wedding. So
oh my gosh, guys, I got married. So we got there on Sunday and the wedding was on Tuesday. So it was nice because we had Sunday like to enjoy ourselves. Monday we did like a welcome breakfast with everyone and like the whole rehearsal thing, and then Tuesday
we had like a breakfast with just the bridesmaids and just like a girls' breakfast, which was so nice.
Sherry and Tracy. And then we started to get ready, and it was kind of nice because we were doing our own makeup, so it's like we didn't have to like rush and like plan all of that. That was kind of at our own pace. And then I had this hairdresser named Fabio, and you guys, we were chatting. I found him on Instagram. We were chatting on WhatsApp, and like I thought I didn't expect him to have perfect English, but I did expect him to be able to speak English, like somewhat based on our conversation. I guess I didn't ask like, hey, can you speak English? Because he was talking to me in English. I could tell he wasn't like Google translating because of the way he was writing, but he barely spoke English.
No, he literally used Google Translate.
Yeah, he's using Google Translate like in person, like he's translating stuff. And guys, I didn't realize like Anita, she lived in Rome for 6 months and she was like fluent.
I was literally just about to say that. She was talking to this guy like she was Italian. And I was like, wait, what? You were here for 6 months?
Yeah.
And also Willie, who did Duolingo for literally a year, was able to have conversations, which just shows if we had kept up with it, we like kind of didn't. But whoops. But
it did help a little bit though, I will say. Like when I was reading stuff, like when I would see like Uomo and like Donna, I'm like, okay, that's the girls' bathroom, that's the boys' bathroom. Like, because there's no pictures, so I had to be able to read that.
Yeah, exactly. But it was crazy. So Nita was just like talking to this guy, and he was a character.
He was a character. He was funny. And guys, so we're obviously in this old ass like fucking castle, and we were getting ready in Tracy and Richard's room because it was like just really pretty. It had nicer lighting, and originally it kind of has like 2 rooms, but then one room the AC wasn't really working, so we're like, okay, we can't really use both rooms, so we'll just use this one. But every time this guy went to use the blow dryer on our hair, like it would blow a fuse and all the power would shut off, and he would like redo the power. So like while he was blow drying our hair, thank God it wasn't like wet. He was just blow drying it to like kind of smooth it out a bit, but we had to turn the AC off every time he was hot blow drying our hair. So like we were getting hot in there.
We were sweating.
We were sweating.
We were like, oh geez.
We're like steaming the dress in there, and we're like, hey, no, we can't steam the dress in here. Like it's too hot. Like bring the dress out there.
Yeah.
So then he starts with my hair, and I'm not gonna lie, you guys, he did my hair the first time, and I showed him a photo of what I wanted, which was so like basic. It was just like nice like open curls, but he made my hair so like frizzy at the start.
And I feel like you said it perfect. You were like, I want to feel like myself, just an elevated version. And I feel like that's really important for brides. Like you need to know what kind of bride you want to be. Like do you want it to be like full glam? You want to be like just like natural, like more like yourself? And you had made it very clear, like I want it to be like me, but just more elevated. And obviously this guy obviously can't speak English, so he did not no idea what we were saying. We were just like elevated version, like just showing him a photo. But like,
oh, actually, no, he started with Reagan, and Reagan's hair turned out actually really good, and he was using the smaller barrel. So I was like, okay, like yeah, like actually, because I was kind of nervous about the small barrel, and I was like, I don't know, like should I go get my curler? But Reagan's turned out so good. So I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna let him do his thing, and then he started doing it, and then he just brushed it out. And it just, I don't know, it just wasn't the picture.
No.
And I was like, you know what? I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I'm like, I guess this is my wedding hair. Like, sure, whatever. Like, I guess this is what I'm going to get married with. And then he did you guys pretty fast.
No.
And then Anita and you guys were like, if you don't like it, just get him to redo it. Like, we're ahead of schedule. Like, and I was like, okay, fine. And I'm so lucky that the hairspray and stuff that they use there isn't really like crispy and doesn't make it like really crunchy. So he was able to brush my hair out and completely redo it. But if you use normal North American hairspray, like I don't think you would have to rewash it.
No, 100%. 100%. No, it was very smooth. Even the next day, my hair was in an updo and I took everything out and then brushed it out and it was not like sticky.
Yeah, they have like a really nice, it probably just has way less ingredients than this stuff.
Just like the wine.
Yeah, literally the sulfates. So yeah, we all do our hair and then we're doing our makeup as well. And then the photographer arrived, Luigi. Guys, Fabio, Luigi, like,
and all these guys had their own personality. Luigi was so funny. Like he was hilarious.
Yeah. But then he was coming in and at first he was like taking pictures in our room and I'm like doing my makeup and he's like taking pictures of me and I'm like, I don't want pictures yet. And he's like, oh, but it's like the getting ready process. I'm like, no, like I don't like it. Maybe someone was doing my makeup, like sure, but I'm like, no, I'm like literally like I'm like and then like I saw the photos that he took and I was like, yeah, like why did you think that was a good time?
Or like I was helping you with your makeup and some of the photos are just bent over. It's so ugly. I was like, yeah, no, this is not going anywhere.
Yeah, no. I made like a condensed version of that album, by the way. I'll share it with you. Good. I'm like, he's literally sent us 1,000 photos, which is great. But out of the 1,000, like I went down to like 500.
Yeah.
So I'm like, half of them were trash.
Yeah, 100%. And he was so funny too because he was like, okay, what do you guys want to do next? And then we're like, usually the photographer is like, okay, we're gonna do this. He was like, all right guys, like what do you guys want pictures of? And we're like, oh,
well, I think it's because at the beginning you guys were so on it and we're like posing and you're like, okay, like do this, do that, like come here, like take the bottle, because it's like Reagan, it's you, it's Anita, like literally you guys are the best team. So I think he was kind of like, oh, okay, like
he's like, what do you guys want now?
Oh no, I don't have to do anything. I'm like, hey, what do you want to do next? Like you tell me. So we get ready and then what happens next? Then
yes,
is the first look.
Yes, it was the first look. Yeah. Well, that first it was the first look. Yeah.
Yeah. Then Matt and I go to do a first look, and I highly recommend doing a first look. Or if you're thinking about doing it, definitely do it. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But it was just so nice to have like that moment, just like Matt and I, that was like super special. And surprisingly at this point, like after my hair and makeup was done, I felt like I looked pretty and like I was happy with how I looked. I just felt like way less stressed out. And I was like, okay, now everything else is just gonna fall into place. And I was just so excited now for everything else. And I get to see Matt and like I've never seen his lip like shake so much. Like he was so nervous.
He was nervous even for his vows. I felt like you were like, let's go.
Yeah.
He was like, but you guys killed it. We'll get to that. But
it was this first look super special. We had our little moment, and then after that it was kind of nice because then we didn't have to like stress about like seeing each other like leading up. Like then after we went into a room, like Matt came in, was getting his camera equipment. I was like, oh hey, I'm gonna marry you in 5 minutes.
And we had like an Aperol spritz and we were chilling. Yeah. Like it was nice to like get rid of the nerves. You know?
It was, and I think like that helped. I think if we didn't do the first look, I think you're way more likely to obviously probably cry when you like first walk down the aisle because you're just like feeling all those moments like for the first time walking down the aisle. But I feel like that's just like a lot of pressure also.
And I feel like the first look, instead of it being like a show for everybody else, it's just you guys, and that's like very special.
Did you guys do a first look?
Yeah, we did first look too. And it's just nice because then you feel like it's just you guys, not everyone's staring at you, looking at you guys. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just like a special moment. And you get to take some photos before like the wedding, which is nice.
And just like see each other and be like, whew, okay, like we got this. Yeah. So yeah, then we go our separate ways. And then guys, I didn't cry my first look with Matt. Like I was just like so happy and so excited. I didn't cry. But then I do my first look with Richard and then
I cried.
I cried
like, so much.
Just like I just cried. The way he looked at me and I was like, oh, I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
Turn on the waterworks. Like it's happening. Like, sorry, Matt, you didn't make me cry. But Richard, you made me cry. Like so sweet. And Richard walked me down the aisle and that was like so
that was special. One of my favorite parts of the day was the first look with Richard.
Yeah.
It was so nice. That was so cute.
That was super cute. And yeah, walking out, honestly, it's like all kind of a blur. Like I didn't even really like look at the people. Like I'm just like looking at Matt, and we're like literally on this mountain in Italy. And like it's so funny because way back when we originally, before we decided to do this, I was like having like a little like moment about planning this big wedding. I was getting like so stressed and so anxious and just like having all these feelings. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this big wedding like here in Ottawa, and I don't want to do this big show. And Matt's like, listen, we don't have to do that. We can literally do whatever you want. We can get married here. We can get married there. We can literally get married, Tash, on a cliff in Italy if you want. And I was like, oh, I'm like, Italy sounds pretty cool. Like, let's do that. And then to actually get married on a cliff in Italy, I was like, whoa.
And I remember the day, like I won't forget it. We were like right after we record the pod, we're like upstairs, like exporting the footage. And then Tash was like, hey, so like me and Matt were talking about like potential places to get married, and we were like kind of thinking about Italy. And my face was like, wait, I want to go to Italy. Let's go to Italy. I was like, we're supposed to do our honeymoon in Italy, got canceled. I would love to go to Italy. We should do Italy. Like,
oh my God. It was really perfect. I remember like I was kind of nervous to tell you because like, fuck, like I feel bad like asking people to go all this way.
I was like,
but,
ask
like,
more.
everyone was so down, which was just like made
so
it the perfect situation. So yeah, we walked down the aisle. We're both there, and Zamir was actually our officiant, which is another thing I recommend, guys. If you can, or if you have someone really close to you that you would see marrying you and your partner, it just makes it so much more intimate, so much special, so special. Like Zamir, why we chose him was because one, he's both of our best friends, and we both knew him independently for years, and then we knew him like as a couple, right? Like he's literally been there for us like separately, and then has seen us like grow throughout our whole relationship from like the very beginning, and we've just always been really close with him and Reagan like from the get-go. So it was kind of a no-brainer like for anyone that we would choose. It was like only him. He was the only option like in our eyes.
So nice.
And he crushed it. Absolutely.
Because I feel like a regular officiant's like talking about you guys as a couple, and it's like, you don't even know me.
Yeah,
do you
have
know
to
what I mean?
have, like, you have like a meeting before, I think, and then
Yeah.
you like tell your love story, and then they kind of like put some stuff together, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. This was just like he's telling you stories, and it's like you were actually there.
Yeah.
You experienced this. So
yeah, it was super
very
special. He did a great job. And then we said our vows.
Guys, these were like the most elite vows. First of all, they both start their vows the exact same way.
No, this was so funny. Like we just have this ongoing inside joke from, oh my God, what movie is it? Oh no, it's actually from Paul Rudd in the scenes in Hot Ones. Because you know, Matt and I love watching the Hot Ones like interviews, and we did our own on his YouTube channel. You should check it out. And there's Paul Rudd, and he's just like looking at the host, and they just have this little joke, and he goes, hey, look at us. Look at us. And whenever we're in these like crazy moments in life where like something really like amazing is happening, or we're just like super grateful, we just like have this joke where we look at each other. I'll be like, Matt, I'm like, look at us. We'll be like, Tash, look at us.
Yeah.
So we both start off our vows. I was like, Matt Dickey, look at us. And he was like, Tash Money, look at us.
Yeah,
and I'm
so
like,
it was,
oh
like,
my
crazy.
God.
That was actually crazy.
Like he said his first line, I started laughing. I'm like, that's literally, he stole my line. That's why he wanted to go first.
Oh, no, it was so good. You guys crushed the vows. Like, I want to hear them again. Good thing is that Matt got literally footage of all of this. So eventually, I know it's like so much work. He had like 5 different angles of footage. Like it was crazy.
There was a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, we recorded everything. And one thing I will recommend to you guys is later that night when we were in bed, just us two, we like said our vows again to each other. So and that was really special to like just hear it again without like everybody around. It was really nice.
Aww.
And yeah, we said our vows and we got married, and we're walking down the aisle, and we like leave and we go like into the villa. And I remember like literally looking at Matt, and I was like, I like feel like so euphoric. Like I've never like felt like this before. Like I'm like literally like there's no other way to say it. Like I'm high on life. Like I'm just like I'm radiating. Like it was insane. Like people always say, oh, it's gonna be the best day of your life, and I'm like, yeah, like I know it's probably gonna be like one of the best days, but like no, like that was literally the best day of my life.
Yeah,
like it was amazing.
Yeah, it's not overhyped at all.
No, it's not. And like everything just blew everything out of the water. Like we hired a DJ and a saxophonist combo, and like the saxophonist was playing as I was walking down the aisle. He's playing Ed Sheeran. Oh my God, what was the song? Is it Perfect? I forget.
He was killing it.
Yeah.
I was like, you need a TikTok.
And the DJ, the DJ and the saxophonist like all night were doing this like combo together with their music, and it was, I mean, I don't want to toot my horn, you guys, but I feel like it was like the best music at a wedding.
It was 100%. I remember you went up to the DJ and you're like, we gave you some songs, scrap everything.
I'm like, Garbaggio. Alex Garbaggio, put my playlist with my Nickelback and my Ja Rule in the garbage.
Like, play this. Because the thing is, they would play a song and then the saxophonist would start playing to that song. So they just were coordinated in a way that, like, if you started playing your songs, he would be like, what am I supposed to do?
Oh my God, but you don't know what I heard? What? So because I'm in this group with a bunch of brides that are also getting married at Domus Leda, and there was a girl that got married a few weeks after me, and she also hired Alex and Marco.
Yeah.
And like I obviously raved about them too, but she hired them before I even like told her about them. And obviously he doesn't really speak great English, but I guess she expected him to like be talking and like announcing like speeches and like just like kind of like doing
an
stuff.
MC's
Exactly.
job?
Yeah. So she was like, yeah, like he didn't really speak English, so he couldn't like say like lead like the speeches or like announce anything. And apparently he played the wrong song as she was walking down the aisle. Yeah. And then I was like to Matt, I'm like, can you believe that? He's like, well, kind of, like Austin was there like helping the guy out when you were walking down the aisle. And I was like, oh shit, like I had no idea.
There's
like,
so many things that you probably didn't know, like fires. Like people told me afterwards, after my wedding, like, oh, like the DJ actually, and it was our friend DJ came and was like, actually forgot his like laptop charger, and someone had to like drive and like
obviously
drop
they're
it
not gonna
off.
tell you that shit.
Yeah,
like,
but like
the
these things like later on like came out, and I'm like, I would never have known. I was just like,
I'm like this is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was really cool because once we came back out, we had like everyone like lined up.
So fun.
Like just on both sides. So we like walked through them, and like we were walking through everybody all the way to the dance floor, and then everyone like surrounded us at the dance floor, and we did our first dance to Chris Stapleton, Tennessee Whiskey.
Love that
our little song. And then we danced with Matt's parents, and then we did a little hype up song. And then we dove into dinner and speeches. And these were the best speeches ever, guys, at a wedding. Oh my God, you killed your maid of honor speech. Thanks. Were you so nervous? You
I was
nervous
leading up to it because I was just like, everyone was like killing it. And I'm like, oh shit.
Romina, so guys, Romina started her speech by roasting Matt. And it was the best. It was so funny.
Oh
I was literally in stitches. Oh my God.
I was a little nervous because I was like, oh, like, you know, sometimes it's hard to like roast people in speeches, and sometimes the jokes don't land. But I was like, this is our group of friends. It's a small group. It's not like a bunch of family members that I don't know. Like, I think most people know us. And honestly, so happy I did, because Matt roasted me in his speech, and then I roasted him. So it was good.
He kind of roasted both of us.
Yeah. I was like, he's like, Romina, since you entered my life, like, it's been very loud.
My life was a lot quieter before you. He's like, oh, you and Tash, you didn't ask Tash to be a bridesmaid. You're a maid of honor. Like, kind of sus. I'm like, no, it was, everyone's speeches were so amazing.
So good.
And yeah, it was just like, I had to, every now and then I just had to like go to myself and like scream like, because I was just like, this is crazy. This is so fun.
So fun.
And I will say, like, Tracy and Richard, they also gave, Tracy like roasted Tom at the beginning of her speech. That was so funny.
That was hilarious.
Guys, Tom left his kid. So guys, I'm not the only one who forgets stuff. Tom left his suit, one of our MCs, he left his suit on the train in Italy, and he never got it back. Yeah. So Tracy started off her speech by roasting Tom a bit for that, and it was really iconic. But what I wanted to say is that Tracy and Richard were just like so happy to just see like our friend group, and he's like, they were like, you guys have just something so special like with this group. Like, I can tell how much you guys love each other and support each other, and you're just like a good group of kids. And I think they were just like so happy to know like this is who we surround ourselves with the most.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And we all got along. There was like friends that like obviously closer with you guys, but then it's like once we were in that villa, like it was like a big family. It was so nice.
The villa was sick. Oh my God.
And then the next day was nice because you usually wake up and it's like the wedding's over, but then it's like the next day was like,
we're like, let's go to the beach.
Let's go to the beach. Let's party. Let's do this.
We went to a beach club the next day.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Oh my God. Like, I just want to go back.
I do. Yeah, it was the best day ever. And I don't know what else to say about it. I will say I kind of was like whatever about the food. I'm not going to lie. Like, I felt like for the price we paid, I'm like, the food was okay. And then like I realized after the fact, like we paid for cannellonis and we never got cannellonis as one of our desserts.
Oh.
So
But that sparkler thing was so cool.
The sparkler thing was so cool, guys. We did our cake cutting and the saxophonist playing. And I didn't even like know the saxophonist was going to like be playing at that point. And like the sparklers went off. That was a last minute addition. I was super glad we did that. It was only like 100 euros for all the sparklers.
And I will say it was fun because they just had a bunch of alcohol out and everyone just like, it was self-service. You just made your own drinks. And it was pretty fun just because it was just like, hey, you want a drink? Yeah. Just go make one.
Yeah. The bar was never closed. It was open for a bit. Matt was behind the bar making drinks for people. Like it was super fun. We danced and danced. It was so hot. I changed into a smaller dress at one point. Same. You changed too because like it was just so hot.
It was so hot.
We also got the most beautiful sunset that night. Yes. The sunset, the wedding night was insane.
It was insane.
And everyone got such beautiful sunset photos.
Yeah. It was beautiful. Okay, I have a question for you. So we did an episode few weeks or months ago.
It was April. It was Caribou.
It was April. Go back and watch it. It's called like Advice for Brides or Bride Talk or something.
It's actually a really good episode. When I was editing it, I was like, wow, this is it's a fun episode. Lots of perspectives.
Yeah. So all about brides, weddings and whatnot. And the question we had was like, if you like advice for future brides, and obviously like, I think you had really good advice just talking about like creating your own traditions, but I'm wondering now that you got married, is there any advice that you'd want to give or things that maybe you liked or didn't like about your wedding day?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely, now that it's said and done, like I'd still really agree with the advice that I originally gave. Like, don't stress too much about like these little traditions or things that you're supposed to do or not supposed to do. Like, no one made these rules. Like, you are making your own rules for your own wedding. So just do what's best for you and your partner and like your guests that are there. Advice is honestly, I was just really lucky to have the month off before the wedding because I felt like that was really crunch time. And I feel like if I didn't have that time off, I left maybe a few too many things, like more to the last minute. So I would just like really give yourself ample time, like leading up, so you're not like cramming stuff like at the very end. Because the last month, like it was pretty much my full-time job.
Okay.
Yeah. And also don't do your bachelorette so close to your wedding.
Yes. It was like 3 weeks.
It was 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks and I was sick for a week after. And it kind of like threw me off my like health and wellness like regimen, like because I was so healthy leading up to the batch. Then we just like partied for 4 days, 4 nights straight. I came back. I had to go on antibiotics because I was sick. And then it was like I was out for a week and then it was a week until the wedding. So it just felt like that was a bit chaotic. So I would recommend doing your bachelorette like at least a month before your wedding.
Okay,
would be
good
my
advice. That's really good advice. I will say one thing we didn't touch on is your little postcards that you made for all the guests.
Oh my God, I had so much fun doing that.
So cute, guys. So it was literally a postcard from Giangano and it was a picture of the villa, and then each person got like a personalized Polaroid with a personalized note, and it was so cute.
That was fun. So like I came up with the idea originally was just like a postcard with like a message. And Matt and I were like, yeah, that's like, we'll both like, you write half, I write half. And then I was like, oh, you know, it'd be cute. Like, what if we like put like a photo? I'll like just like get like some printed at Walmart. I'll find a bunch of photos. And then I was like, wait, like Polaroids are our thing, you know, like already like on his wall. I'm like, there's definitely like some old school Polaroids we can use. But I'm like, ooh, if we want to make them all Polaroids, though, like, how are we going to do that? And then I remembered about that device that exists. So it's like an Insta Mini, but like a printer. Yeah. And you download this app and you literally just put your phone to the machine and it will print out any photo you have as a Polaroid. And I was scrambling because originally Walmart will make photos into Polaroids, the small ones, but it takes 8 to 12 business days. And we were like less than a week out at this point. This was like a last minute like addition. And so shout out to Camilla because I literally drove to her work one morning, got the camera thing from her, printed all the photos that day, and then like drove her back the next day, her little device.
Nice.
And that like allowed us to make like all these little photos. And it was so fun. Like we literally just spent a night, like first we spent a night like typing it each out on our computer. And then we spent another night like writing them all out. But I will say like writing them, you guys, like having to write like 24 of them, my hand was so sore, especially first typing all one night and then writing all one night. but it was so worth it because literally people were like in tears opening up their letters. It was so sweet.
I was like, oh my God, I was trying not to like read it too hard because I was going to do my speech right after. So I was like, okay, I'm going to read this after. Like,
I'm just going to put this away for now.
Put it away for 5 minutes and then I'll come back and read it. But it was such a personalized, and it's nice because you had a smaller wedding. So everything could be personalized.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
That's just it. I felt like we had to take advantage of that, like just to really show like how much it meant to us to have like every single person there, because it's like everyone that was there, it's like you're basically our family, right?
So nice. So nice. Yeah. So that was just the wedding. So that was just a portion of our trip. But
that was only 6 days into the trip, you guys.
Yeah.
We still had like 20 more days to go.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger, guys. We're pausing there. It's part 1 of 2.
Yeah, definitely come back for the rest of our European summer, part 2 next week. We love you guys.
Love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.